All right, everyone, welcome to another Third Apron podcast live. I've got two special guests with me, a friend of the show, Sam Quinn, and making his Third Apron debut, Keith Smith, my brother from SBC. It's August, which means a lot of people are kind of tuning out of the NBA. News is coming and going. Sporadically, we had a little Celtics trade yesterday. We're still waiting on the restricted free agents, but I felt that it's kind of the time of year where why not have some fun with some stuff we want to talk about. And this is something that I've had in mind to do as an exercise for like maybe 5-6 years now. And we're going to do an expansion draft. And the reason is mainly around 5-6 years ago, it kind of became an open, just kind of like this open secret that it's coming at some point. And a lot of people probably would have thought back then that it would have happened by now. Now we're at the point where this isn't speculation anymore. It's out in the open. We've had the league address it. Adam Silver's talked about it. It's definitely coming. We kind of have an idea who the teams may or may not be, but now we're at the point where it's kind of a matter of when things kind of need to line up for the league, for the owners. We're starting to hear now, instead of like, will it happen? It's kind of like, well, now some of the owners are kind of pushing back on when it should happen, and things kind of need to work out a certain way. So maybe this could be something that happens like 3-4 years from now, in which case I think this would be a nice, fun annual thing to do over the next few years in preparation of that. So here's how it's going to work. And then we'll kind of get into the rules, who these and who our teams, who they're going to represent. But the gist of it is I'm going to represent all 30 teams, and Sam and Keith are each going to be a new team, and they are going to pick players from the pool of guys available to them. And that's basically it. But there will be some negotiations. There's some trades that can happen. Maybe I don't want them to select a certain player. Maybe I can give them picks to convince them not to do it. So look, this has never been done before, like as a podcast or anything. So who knows? Hopefully this isn't a total disaster, but I think this should still be fun nonetheless. Guys, first of all, thank you for doing this. Any thoughts on this? Any strategies you might have going into this?
I will be extorting the Philadelphia 76ers to take on their bad contract.
Yeah, we might be in competition there, but yeah, I mean, it's the cool thing with an expansion draft is there's really I won't say there's no wrong way to go about it, because I think there's probably wrong ways, but there's no like one right way to attack an expansion draft. I think you can go a lot of different directions with this. So I'm excited to kind of see how we piece this together and what the rosters look like, and just how many decades away from being playoff contenders we may be at the end.
Yeah. Are you guys pro expansion or kind of neutral about it? Like, what's your feeling about the possibility of adding 2 more teams?
Yeah, I'm expansion. My feeling on it is the talent pool is just big enough to sustain it. I don't really care about the owners splitting up the national TV pie. I just think it's time. I think we have markets that can support it, whether it's Seattle, whether it's Vegas. There's even been the Mexico City buzz. My position is like, this is owner greed that's slowing it down, but basketball wise, we're ready.
Yeah, I think when you look across the league, how deep some of the 8 to 10 man rotations are in the NBA, I think we're ready. There's guys who are coming off the bench for some of these teams. I think that should be starters in the league. Yeah, maybe the 13th through 15th man, that part might be a little weak, but we can figure that out. I think we're in a spot where, especially for a handful of the cities that have been mentioned, the NBA has to be really cautious that they don't end up being the 4th team in a market because there's only so many season ticket dollars to go around, only so much merchandise money to go around. And even you look at Seattle, they're fourth now, but thankfully Seattle has a very deep, rich basketball history, so they should be okay. And then in Las Vegas, that's so driven by tourists anyway that are going to be on there. And I don't know what the athletics experience experiment is going to look like in Las Vegas. So I think if they went there, those seem to be the two cities that are prominent. And we deviated a bit here in our little fun exercise. But yeah, I'm rocking the Sonic shirt today. Go Sonics! I'm a big believer in that, so I'm ready to go.
All right,
Yeah,
so
I
let's
went
just
a
get
slightly
okay.
different direction. Go Swamp Dragons.
All right, so
love it.
I guess to do the reveals, here is who is representing who. Keith, he decided he's going to represent the. He decided to bring a NBA team back to Seattle, the Seattle Supersonics. I'm gonna put it. Let's put it here. Writing it down. And Sam, you show everyone that shirt again.
Oh yeah, go Swamp Dragons.
Do you want to give the lore on this? For there might be some
Yes.
some viewers who have no idea what you're wearing.
Yeah. So in the mid '90s, I'm getting off center here, so let me get back. In the mid '90s, the Nets considered changing their name to the New Jersey Swamp Dragons. It got far enough down the line that there was artwork, as you see in the shirt. They held a board of governors vote that went 26-1 in favor of the name change. The one no vote were the Nets. So they declined their own name change. In my universe here, Bruce Springsteen is going to be our expansion owner into New Jersey. We are going to demolish the Hoboken waterfront, build an arena there, and we are going to bring the NBA back to New Jersey.
Love it. So, Sam, I agree. I do think there is a need for a third team in the New York metro market. So, good thinking there. So yeah, Sonics. That's kind of the one of the more one of the choices everyone kind of expects. Interesting. I thought we might have Vegas in here, but I think, based on what's going on there, apparently our generation is not keeping it afloat. Maybe Vegas might not be the best expansion team right now. So we're bringing another one. We're bringing back to New Jersey, and we are coming back to Seattle. So everyone who's watching, if you look at the description, there is a Google sheet that you can access. This is going to be the sheet that we're all following. I'm going to just pull it up quickly because I'm going to have it obstructing me at times. But here is going to be the cap sheets where we're going to be updating it. And I'm going to go over the rules shortly. And then to the left, I'm not going to be able to scroll over there, but to the left of this sheet, you're going to see all the players that are protected and unprotected. I listed them since I'm going to be all those teams. And for those who can't view this, if you're listening to it on audio only, we will list every player as quickly as possible, just so whenever we're on that team. So fear not, hopefully this makes sense for everyone who can't do this visually, but we've got this sheet going on here to keep track of what's going on. So let's go over rules real quick, because first it should be noted that there's a very good chance that once expansion does happen, it might not be quite at all like what has been going on the past few expansion drafts. There's definitely going to be changes between the agreement from the players and the league, how things might be done. Like, one of the biggest things that has changed since the Bobcats did their expansion in 2004 is two-way contracts. How does that factor in? But really quickly, I'm just going to go over the rules. So first, we're going to do a coin flip. I don't have a coin. I've got this micro SD card. So we're going to decide who goes first. But here's how it's going to work, because this is what happened back when it was Wolves versus Raptors, or was it Raptors Grizzlies? I don't know. One of them.
Grizzlies.
So we do a coin flip. The winner will get to decide whether he gets a higher selection in the upcoming 2026 draft, or if he wants to go first, and then he also gets an additional selection. So this means we're only going to pick 29 players. So one team will be spared from this. So and I should clarify, well, we should have done this in like June, but I think this is just a better time to do it in August, where expansion draft's going to happen before the NBA draft. So that means that by then we'll already know the draft order, but draft picks are not impacted by this. So it's only players on active contracts and restricted free agents. So teams have to protect up to 8 players that are either under contract or restricted free agents. If there's since this is before the draft and before the start of free agency, team options, player options may be undecided. So if a team selects one of those players, the option could still be invoked later. What else? So 8 players has to be protected, but at least one player who is under contract has to be unprotected. So I already went ahead and made my protection list and unprotection list. As we go through this, we'll kind of get into how like strategy was involved and how teams could strategize for this ahead of actual expansion. If a restricted free agent is selected, he immediately becomes unprotected. He immediately becomes unrestricted. So basically, this kind of, I guess, protects the team with that player's restricted rights from kind of, giving the expansion team potentially a reason not to select them. But what does a team get by selecting him? One of two things: their bird rights, like whatever rights they had from their previous team, they inherit them in free agency. But also it could be kind of a burner pick where, hey, I don't want you to select my best unprotected player. Why don't you take this free agent instead? I'll give you some picks for it. That's allowed. What else? Teams can negotiate. Yeah, so we're going to negotiate. I'm going to try to convince them to select or not select certain players. That's where the fun is. As for the salary cap stuff, so let me pull my thing up. The interesting thing about expansion, I don't know if this is something that they're going to modify or change, but if they select a bad contract or just any salary, they can waive these players and they just have them off their cap sheet. So we're not going to get into that, but that's just something to note that's really interesting, where I can pay Sam or Keith to take on one of my bad contracts, incentivize them with a draft pick, and then they could just wipe them off completely. And then that helps them maximize their cap space. However, so this is for the next season, 26-27. So this all assumes that I have the rosters that we have now kind of set in place, as in there's no trades over the next coming year, which obviously that's not going to happen. These rosters are going to look very different, but we're doing the best, working with what we got. But the salary cap space they work with is less than the full amount. So the actual salary caps are going to be projected at like 165.5. When new teams get added to the league, they don't get the full salary cap immediately. They get 80. They've got an 8. They would get 80% in the first year of it, and then 90% the second year, and then they get to the cap. They also aren't allowed to get the first overall pick, or maybe even the second, as if it's 2 of them. These competitive reasons that they put. Just a lot of different cool facts about expansion. So these aren't going to be playoff teams by any means. This is just more so, hey, let's see how this exercise, just show how this works, how this might actually work. But yeah, I think that's just about it. Anything else I might be missing, guys?
I don't think so.
I think you covered it.
Okay. All right then. So let's get to it. I suppose we got to choose white or black. Make your call, guys.
Give me black. Always bet on black.
All right. Shit. I got to do it again.
Conspiracy theory time.
Black.
Give me the first pick in the expansion draft. I'm willing to take a backseat in the NBA draft.
Okay. So That means, Keith, you are going to get the first selection and you'll get to make 15 overall selections. Sam is only going to make 14.
Oh, no.
No, Sam wants the first pick.
Yeah,
oh, I'm sorry.
Pick.
I see. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So the opposite of what I said.
Yes.
Sam's going to go first, and he's going to get to make 15 selections. Keith will go second, and he makes 14, but Keith will have a higher selection in the 26th draft. So everyone, if you're just tuning in, check the Google link that I put in the description so you could follow along, see the pool of players that Sam and Keith will get to choose from, and also see how we are updating their sheets. So Sam, go ahead. Who do you want to negotiate first with?
Get the Philadelphia 76ers on the line. I
Wow.
am prepared to take either Joel Embiid or Paul George off of your books, but I will be asking for a very high price. Here is
Okay.
what I
Hold on, time out. We got to list what's going on. So basically, the Sixers, they have 10 players under contract. I went ahead and re-signed Quentin Grimes to roughly like 3 for 55, something like that. So I structured it where I protected everybody because they had 10 players except for Joel Embiid and Paul George. Now, this is interesting because I kind of structured it where I only get off a bad contract if just in case I'm not spared. I was thinking you guys might avoid the Sixers till the very end, and then they might be stuck with keeping Embiid and George. So what's your rationale?
I'm going to extort you for all that you're worth. I'm prepared to take one of those contracts off of your books. I will then waive it for no cap hit. But here's what I want in exchange. I want Jared McCain. I want the unprotected 2028 Clippers pick. And I want one more unprotected pick in a year of your choosing.
But that's the thing. I left them unprotected on purpose. I'm okay with you taking them.
No, that's the thing. You want me to take them. You want to be freed of these awful contracts, and I am prepared to do that for you.
All right. Well, let's revisit it later then. But that's the thing. Like, let's revisit it. See even if the Sixers are going to be on the board, because if they're going to be the one spare team at the end, then either you guys take them, you take one of them, if that makes sense, or no one takes them. They're the last team that's spared, in which case nothing happens. I just get stuck with them. Does that make sense?
I'm not bound to the Sixers here. If you don't accept my trade, I'm going to move on. I have somebody else I want to take. But I am prepared to take one of those expensive contracts right now if you pay my price to do it. Because nobody's taking those contracts otherwise.
I'm not gonna. The point is, I want you to just take them. I structured it like this so you guys just take.
Actually, no, you have to force me to take them. We're leaving them untouched otherwime. Nobody's touching.
So they might be untouched. That's the thing about this. How I made it. I had a feeling there might be the last team. So the Sixers, me as the Sixers might get stuck with those guys, and that's it. I don't think that's worth it.
Take one of those contracts.
I don't want to give up. I just want you guys to take them without me giving up anything, if possible.
Yeah, that will not be happening. I can assure you of that.
So let's see. Maybe we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll revisit this.
If you are not if you're not going to negotiate with me, Oklahoma City, what's it worth for me to not take Nikola Topic?
Okay, so let me talk about Oklahoma City. If you guys aren't looking at the sheet, this is a very interesting situation where if expansion happened right now, the Thunder would lose someone very valuable. I protected Chet, Jalen Williams, SGA, Hardenstein, Caruso, Dort, Cason Wallace. And then the last one I was kind of split between Thomas Sorber, Jalen Williams, J. Will, that is, and Topic. I ultimately kept Sorber because I think they'll need more size. So that means the unprotected pool has a whopping 7 players that includes Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, J. Will, Kenrich Williams, team option, Topic, AJ Mitchell, and the unrestricted rights to Ousmane Dieng. So who do you want to take if you could just take someone?
Nikola Topic would be my pick. I am prepared to talk about other players for a price.
Okay. Hold on, I just got to fix my audio for one second. Here we go. I think that should be better. Some people were saying it wasn't sounding well. Okay. Yeah, everyone, in the chat, let me know if I fixed the audio. So, yeah, I figured Nikola Topic might just be the guy that you just want to take. What would you be interested in if to take on more like Isaiah Joe or Aaron Wiggins?
So this is where the draft order being set gets a little bit complicated. The Thunder have, I think, as many as 4 2026 first round picks between Houston themselves, the Clippers, and potentially Philly. My question is, how do you want to, like, are we negotiating for the value of those picks in this moment in 2025? Do we have a draft order for me to trade off of? Because I'd love to get a 2026 round pick. I just want to know which one I'm negotiating for.
So let me see. We're going to have to estimate. This is the best we could do.
Okay.
So let's see. What 26 picks do we have?
Let me propose this then.
All right.
I will take Aaron Wiggins instead of Nikola Topic.
Mm-hmm.
I want the unprotected Clippers pick to do that in 26.
Okay. So it's the worst of Clippers Rockets, or the most favorable, I guess.
The Wizards get the worst.
No, Thunder get 2 of them. The Thunder get 2 of the more favorable of Houston Clippers. So I'll give you the least favorable of that.
It's got to be the most favorable because the Rockets pick is going to be bad. So I'm saying I want the best of the Clippers, Rockets, Thunder triumvirate with the worst that's going to Washington. I will take the Philly pick if you want to do that separately. That's top 4 protected, but I will take the Philly pick instead.
Okay, for the sake of kind of speeding things up, let's do it. I'll give you that Philly pick. Take Wiggins off my hands.
Take Aaron Wiggins.
Because OKC, I think realistically, they're going to need to get off of one of Wiggins or Joe in the future. So here, okay, you keep the higher upside. I'm keeping the higher upside guy. I still have a boatload of picks. I give you a semi-decent one. Hold on, I'm still having audio issues. Hello? Okay, again, let me know, everyone, if that sounds better. So, yeah, this works with me. So you're going to get Wiggins. Do you want to add him to your sheet?
I have, yes. 1 second. Sorry, I have my own separate sheet that I had up.
And I'm going to write it down. That we are trading the SDs, Swamp Dragons get Wiggins and Sixers 26 first via from OKC. Okay.
So can I talk about Wiggins for a second? I think
I think we should we got like 28 more picks to go. I think we should try to go a little speed things through. Keith, you're up.
All right. So just so everybody knows too, now nobody can take any more Thunder players. That's how it works. You can lose at most one guy. So, because Sam, I had the same top guy on my board with Topic. So I would have gone with him as well. But I am going to go with, and Yossi, we can negotiate if you're interested, but I'm going to go with Terrence Shannon Jr. of the Timberwolves.
Okay, so yeah, Minnesota. Here's what I did. I protected basically their top 6 guys, which includes Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, Dante DiVincenzo, and then their 2 recent first-round picks, Rob Dillingham, Johan Berenger. I think that's kind of a chalk protection list from the Wolves if expansion happened next year, which leaves Terrence Shannon Jr., Jalen Clark, who would be a restricted free agent, and Leonard Miller. So this is, and then in real life, I don't think there's much I could do as the Wolves because they don't have any first round picks to trade. Yep. Even next year, maybe they open up. Nope, second Apron. No. Maybe they open up their 2035 or 2034. I don't think that's worth trading to save Terrence Shannon Jr. I mean, how many second round picks would it take? I don't even know if I have that many if I'm the Wolves.
I would have needed a first. to not take him. So
yeah, no, that there's not much I could do.
All right.
Yeah, Keith, Terrence Shannon is yours.
Done.
All right, Sam, Swamp Dragons, you are up.
Yeah, Terrence Shannon was second on my board as well. I'm deciding between there are a couple players that have a couple of players, or a couple teams that have a couple players that I like. Why don't we go to Indiana? Because they've got a couple of interesting players on the board here. Some that I think I could potentially flip at the deadline. I think there would be a lot of interest in TJ McConnell. I think Ben Shepherd with a little bit of a bigger role, like could maybe be something. I would say right now I am leaning towards drafting TJ McConnell, but Indiana, what are we thinking?
Okay, so Indiana, I protected Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam. I couldn't come to an agreement on an extension with Benedict Mathurin, but he is a restricted free agent, so I'm keeping his rights. Andrew Nembhard, Obi Toppin, Aaron Nesmith, Jarris Walker, and the last one I kept was Jay Huff because I think they need to protect some size. So that left TJ McConnell available, Ben Shepherd, James Wiseman, Johnny Furphy, and Cam Jones. Who did you say you want to select?
I am leaning towards TJ McConnell, but if you'd like to make an offer for me to take Ben Shepherd instead, I'm open-minded.
I think I'm okay with that.
All right, I will be taking TJ McConnell with the plan to trade him at the deadline. I think at $11 million, that just fits a lot of teams' books. We saw the incredible postseason that he just had. I bet there will be substantial interest in McConnell at the deadline, and I'll be able to flip him for a late first-round pick.
All right, then. Yeah, Indiana, just not a lot of upside there. I think I'd rather just keep, not that Shepherd, like Furphy, Cam, I don't know how much upside those guys have, but I think I'd rather just roll with them. McConnell, he's a little older. I think I'm okay. I kept them unprotected for a reason, so I'm okay with that. Get off that little bit of cap savings. Also worth noting that whenever a player is taken, the original team gets a trade exception worth that player's salary. So OKC now has a Aaron Wiggins $8.8 million trade exception. McConnell, Pacers have an $11 million TJ McConnell trade exception. So just something, also little fun fact about expansion. All right, so that was third. The Swamp Dragons took TJ McConnell. Keith, you're up.
Hey, just for tracking purposes, are you okay if when a team has someone selected, can we just like strike them through?
Yeah.
Like that.
Perfect.
Okay. Just that way, like we're not double dipping by mistake later when we get deeper into this. Okay.
Perfect.
Cool. And I've done that now for the 3 teams. Done her off the board.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So my next guy on my list, that I want to go for is Julian Strother from the Denver Nuggets.
Okay, so Denver, I protected, also pretty obvious protection for the most part. Jokic, Murray, Gordon, Cam Johnson. No surprise there. I extended both Christian Brown and Peyton Watson. I gave Christian Brown maybe was 5 for 125, something like that. Peyton Watson 3 for 30, I think. And then I protected Daron Holmes. And then the last one, I was on the fence between Jalen Pickett and Julian Strother. I just kept Pickett. I haven't really watched too much of him, but I just figured I don't know, there might still be a little more upside there, which means I unprotected Jonas Valanciunas, who had a $10 million non-guaranteed salary. Zeke Naji, who I'm going to see if there's something that could be done there, Keith. And then Julian Strother and Hunter Tyson. So I know as the Nuggets, I only have a couple second-round picks. Is there any way, whatever second-round picks I have left available, would that be all right for you to take Zeke Naji by any chance?
Nope, I'd rather have Strother.
Yeah, like Minnesota, Nuggets can't really do anything. They don't have any first-round picks to trade. I can offer you some swaps. Not that there'll be anything meaningful as long as Jokic is still there. So This is just one of those where I'm going to have to lose Strother. So Congratulations, Supersonics. You now have Julian Strother on your team. So we're just updating everything. And Swamp Dragons, you are up.
Yeah, with Denver, I was actually going to ask for a 2031 swap to take on Zeke Nnaji. I think that contract is uniquely damaging to Denver, but less so to another team, just because the number is so small. It's the years that kill you, and we can get out of the years with the waivers. But with Denver off of the board, I am going to take, I believe, a starting caliber center who's still relatively young. Give me Goga Batadze. I don't really think Orlando has anything that I really want, so I don't think we have to do much negotiating there. So just give me
Yeah.
Goga unless you really want to blow my socks off.
So just going to explain the protection. I protected Franz, Paolo, Desmond Bain, Jalen Suggs, Wendell Carter Jr., Anthony Black, Tristan Da Silva, and Jace Richardson. So that left Jonathan Isaac, who's mostly non-guaranteed, available, as well as Goga Batadze and Noah Penda. Yeah, I know Magic don't have any first round picks to trade next year. They should have some seconds. Is there any? Would you rather have like 3 or 4 seconds, or is Goga? You just want Goga?
I just want Goga. Like, I think he's an underpaid starting caliber center. Those are just hard to come by.
Yeah.
I think I can flip him at the deadline if I decide that I need to tank, or if there's another center later that I take. I just think he's really good value at that money.
Yeah, not much I could do there. Congratulations, Swamp Dragons. You are now you got now Goga on your team. So yeah, let's just keep going, and then I could kind of talk about some of the things I kind of picked up on strategy wise as I was adding protections for each team. Sonics, go ahead. Who would you like to work with?
All right. So I've got a couple guys that I'm trying to choose between here, but I'm going to continue along the same path. And my guy is Cody Williams from the Jazz.
All right. So let's get into this one. How do I close this? Okay. Utah. I protected Lauri Markkanen. I extended Walker Kessler to like 5 for 115. As in like the current off season we're in, I've already have extended him. I'm making assumptions like that. Ace Bailey, I protected Taylor Hendricks. I protected Keontae George, Walter Clayton, Kyle Filipowski, and Isaiah Collier. So this is a very tricky situation, kind of like OKC, where there is a lot of recent first round picks or just a lot of players of value where someone isn't someone's going to miss the cut. So unprotected is Kyle Anderson, Cody Williams, Bryce Sensabaugh, Svi Mikhailiuk. Cody Williams had one of the statistically worst seasons last year. I didn't pay attention to Summer League, but apparently he looked a lot better. But either way, I think I want to, just based on what we have and the players that Jazz have, he didn't make the cut. Jazz have a lot of first round picks and a lot of second round picks to offer, though. Is there some? I do kind of, as a Jazz, given my position, I still would like to keep Cody if possible. Can I interest you in like 4 second round picks potentially to take someone else?
4 second round picks, huh? I don't know. You get a lot of firsts as Utah. Let's see. Man, if we're going with a different guy, because I'll be honest, I'm not super interested in the other guys. I'm assuming that 2031 Phoenix first is off the table, right?
Right.
Or no? Yeah.
No, definitely off the table. So we've got.
You know what? I'd rather have Cody Williams than 4 second rounders. So unless there's like one of these decent firsts, I'll stick with Cody Williams.
It's tough after the Jazz made that trade, getting that 31 first, because then it would have been a little easier if I was trading you a Minnesota first or a Cleveland first. I think they still have one of those, don't they? Like they maybe in 2029. No.
Yeah, they still have. They have like most favorable of Utah, Cleveland, Minnesota, I think.
How about the Lakers first in 2027?
No, not with Luca under contract.
So you're not interested in like that least favorable of Cleveland, Minnesota in 27 either?
What is it? Two most favorable of Utah, Cleveland, and Minnesota.
Actually, no, most
Yeah,
favorable.
I mean, I'd be
Yeah.
interested in the most favorable of that because that's probably going to be Utah's.
Yeah. No, I mean, even the least favorable of that's going to be tough. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if it was the Lakers first, I would do it. Otherwise, I guess you can have Cody.
All right, Cody Williams.
All right. So yeah, so basically I kind of came to the conclusion that with I think the picks I have might be a little more valuable than keeping Cody Williams going forward. So here's where we are at right now. For those watching, paying attention, want to follow, these teams still have a lot of cap space. The goal is probably that they're going to end up having a bunch of cap space to spend because they're not going to take on that much money. But so far, a lot of good upside on the Sonics. Let me just update this. Swamp Dragons, a little more veteran base, but maybe you guys can parlay these players later for more value later. All right, so who is up then? Swamp Dragons. Who do you want to select?
So speaking of cap space, I'm thinking down the line, I want to be able to absorb bad contracts for assets. So I've got to be careful because I've drafted twice as much salary as Keith has. So I am looking for somebody a little bit cheaper. I have a couple of names that I'm kind of interested in. I do want some younger upside like Keith has. So let me go to Washington, and I want Cam Whitmore. I'm going to let him take all the shots that he wants. So you know what? We're going to see. We're going to see if he can actually be a high-level scorer.
All right, so Washington, I protected Corey Kispert, Alex Sarr, Bilal Coulibaly, Trey Johnson, Bub Carrington, Will Riley, AJ Johnson, Keyshawn George. The last spot was like basically split with AJ Johnson and Cam Whitmore. I feel like with me, I just kind of felt like we've seen less of AJ Johnson, which makes me feel like there might be some more there, a little more upside. So I just protected him, like with Utah, like with OKC. Wizards do have a lot of picks. I gave up 2 second-rounders to get Cam Whitmore. I'm not really going to put much of a fight on this one. You can have Cam Whitmore.
I think so. A roster building thing that I've noticed, Indiana has had a lot of success with second draft candidates. And I think the reason they've had that success is that they very specifically targeted guys who have not been able to get minutes on their original team for one reason or another. Aaron Nesmith is a good example of that. Obi Toppin as well. I don't know that Cam Whitmore has as well-rounded a game as those guys do. In fact, clearly I would say he doesn't, but he does fall into that category of guys who got blocked minutes-wise on their original team. Now he's playing for an expansion team. Take all the shots you want, Cam. We're going to see if you can be that 20-point scorer that you think you can be.
Yeah, and unlike maybe 5 years ago, now that we have teams like the Thunder, Jazz, Wizards that have like a lot of young players, not that they're all necessarily like good young players, but they have a lot of guys that they're working on, and they have all these extra picks. I can't imagine they'd put up too much of a fight to keep like their 8th or 9th most valuable young player. That might be different with some other teams, but so far this kind of went as I expected when it came to those specific teams that already have a lot of upside. So Swamp Dragons, they took Cam Whitmore. Sonics, you are up. Who would you like to take?
All right. I've gone heavy with wings. I need to get a little bit of ball handling on the floor here. So I'm going to go with Marcus Sasser from the Pistons.
Okay, so Detroit, I protected Cade. I had already extended Jalen Duren. I couldn't extend Jaden Ivey, but I want to keep his restricted rights. And then I also kept Duncan Robinson, Isaiah Stewart, Karis LeVert, Asar Thompson, and Ron Holland. So for those thinking, well, why didn't you unprotect maybe Duncan Robinson to keep Marcus Sasser? I need that salary. I need the Pistons. What they did this offseason was rack up on big tradable salaries for a potential trade down the line. And I think as of now, given that I still have Jaden Ivey in the fold, I've got Cade Cunningham. I could probably risk the upside of the downside of losing Marcus Sasser. I'll give you 2 seconds. Otherwise, if you want to take somebody else.
Yeah, I think that challenges the only other guy I would have had interest in is maybe Chaz Lanier, but Sasser's a little more proven. I like his point of attack defense. I think he could, at the very least, I have a backup point guard, and we'll figure out a starter later. So,
do I have a fake first round pick, a heavily protected first I can throw at you? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, I don't think the Pistons have.
So.
Yeah, Pistons don't have any firsts, any extra firsts.
Yeah, it's just your own. Yep.
Let's see. It's a 2026 draft. I might have like the 20th pick. Nah, there's no swap that makes sense right now. Okay. Yeah, you can have Marcus Sasser.
All right.
All right. So just updating this. Sonics take Marcus. So far, I don't know if it's either bad negotiating on my end or if it's kind of like, or if it's maybe more how much maybe there's more talent in the league. So far, these rosters look way better than like what we've seen. If you guys look up the expansion drafts from before and see who these teams end up taking, this is already like looking way more talented. So I don't know, just a little observation. I don't know how many. I can't really go too deep into seconds. I don't know what is like good value for keeping these guys. That's just something we'll have to find out when expansion happens. Swamp Dragons, you're up.
Yeah, so I just took Cam Whitmore. Therefore, I think I need to get some defense in here. There are 2 guys that I want. I think I want to leave one of these teams for later in case there's a cap dump. So I'm going to go with somebody who the offense is very much a work in progress. The defense is very exciting to me. I'm taking Mo Gay from the Atlanta Hawks.
Okay, Atlanta, pretty simple protection list for me. It was Trae Young, who has a player option. I'll try to extend him or re-sign him that next offseason. Jalen Johnson, I have already extended both Dyson Daniels and Kristaps Porzingis. I predict the Hawks will end up doing that. Onyeka Okongwu, Alexander Walker, Risa Shea, and Asa Newell protected those 8, which left Kobe Bufkin, Vit Krejci, Mo Gay, and Nikola Jurisic. Yeah, I'm okay. It's like, yeah, I could give you like 1 second. I imagine you'll just, yeah. Yeah, no, I understand. So Mo Gay is with the Swamp Dragons. And that is number 9. Sonics, you're up.
All right. This is where, for me, let's talk to Toronto.
That was the other team I was thinking of.
What are you thinking for? I'll start with, I don't want RJ Barrett. But what are you willing to give up to get off Jakob Poeltl?
Okay, so I protected Scotty Barnes, and then I ended up protecting Brandon Ingram, Emmanuel Quickley. To be honest, I almost considered unprotecting those 2 as well. Just kind of like how I feel about the state of the Raptors contract situation right now. But I ended up keeping Ingram because it's still kind of a short deal. And with Quickley, yeah, he's definitely overpaid right now, but it's going to stay at that 32.5 a year. Now it's like 20% of the cap, eventually be 15. I need a point guard. So I reluctantly protected him in this, as well as I've already extended Ochai Agbaji. So I protected him, as well as Grady Dick, Colley, Murray Boyles, Jacoby Walter, and Jonathan Mogbo. So I unprotected RJ Barrett, who has 1 year, $29.6 million remaining. Jakob Poeltl, who hasn't even begun that big extension he just signed. Sandro Mamukelashvili, Jamison Battles, and Jamal Shed. Okay, so let's talk. Yeah, I would really like if you took one of RJ Barrett or Jakob Poeltl. What would you do otherwise?
I'd probably move to another team.
Okay.
instead. But here's the thing: you have basically all of your own firsts, and then you seconds. You're kind of basically even in seconds. Um, so I would take Pirtle off your hands for one of your first round picks.
Okay, I'll have to revisit this. Um, yeah, I'm kind of wondering if I'm deciding whether to call your bluff. Maybe you do want Pirtle, and you're just trying to get a first out of me. Let's revisit this.
I mean, maybe could be.
That's a little too high. It would have to be
Okay.
heavily protected anyway. I have to think about those protections if
Okay.
we even get
All right.
there. Maybe Sam, and then Sam might want to, maybe he wants to do something. But yeah, who do you have next?
Okay, then I'm going to go to a completely different team, and I'm going to go to Golden State and Trace Jackson Davis.
Yeah. So the Warrior situation, I did a couple things where I protected Curry, Butler, Draymond Green. I re-signed Kuminga to a 2 for like 40. That 2 for 48 that Shams said that they're currently, kind of having a staring contest over as we speak. I protected Moses Moody. I signed Al Horford to 2 years for the tax mid-level. I protected him as well. I protected Brandon Pajemski. I assume all the other guys that they sign will be 1-year deals, minimum deals, in which case I can't protect them. So Warriors are kind of short on players. So I just ended up protecting on my last spot the restricted rights for Quentin Post. So that left Trace Jackson Davis available, as well as the restricted rights to Guy Santos. And I think this is kind of like, and so I'm going to go ahead and let you take Trace Jackson Davis. Go ahead and take him. And I'm going to explain what happened here where TJD, where I can see it, once expansion is on the horizon, like once we're at the season where expansion is about to happen, I could see teams preemptively make moves to narrow down their pool of unprotected players and make it so, like, in the end, there is only like guys that they don't really value much to be selected. So with the Warriors, they have so few players rostered heading into next offseason that if expansion happened, they wouldn't really be at risk losing anybody. So what is something teams could do? They can waive a player who's going to become a restricted free agent, or who's like on a non-guaranteed contract, just to trim down that pool and maybe narrow down to one guy, which is why we came back to that Sixer situation. They didn't narrow anything. It's just that, like, based on what we have right now, they could make it where the pool is Embiid or George. And if because they don't have that many players or any restricted free agents upcoming. So that's just something interesting, how teams could, like, we could see some shenanigan, I don't know, like just some kind of maneuvering ahead of expansion, which I don't know if teams kind of like, did this in the previous expansions, but I'm sure we're going to have a lot of strategizing leading up to the next round of expansion. All right. So now we're a third done. Timing's good so far. Swamp Dragons, you're up.
Okay, I would like to start really looking into my big, heavy salary dump of a pick at this point because, now I have used a fair amount of cap space. I don't want to be in a position where, like, we get to the end and I have to take somebody for salary purposes. So first things first, Philly, get on the phone. Let's talk about Embiid and George now. Are you prepared to engage on my massive offer from earlier? Jared McCain, 2028 Clippers pick, unprotected pick in a future year of your choosing, for me to take on your choice of Embiid or George.
I'm not prepared. I'm willing to take. I'm not prepared to discuss it.
All right. Nobody is taking either of those guys, just so you're clear. I
think I'd rather just keep them then. We'll see. This will probably be the last negotiation.
All right. I have a secondary big cap dump team that I want to engage. But first, I have a little bit of a side move that I have to negotiate. Can I get Oklahoma City on the line really quickly?
Oklahoma City.
We have used them for expansion draft purposes. I need them for something else.
Okay.
So you guys have some very bad 2026 first round picks. And for Stepien purposes, I would like one. You don't have the roster spots for those guys anyway. So for the least favorable of any of your 2026 first round picks, I am prepared to give you 2 unprotected seconds and years of your choosing from me, the expansion team.
Okay, Sam. The only thing is that like I think you gotta. That's like a draft. That's like a post expansion trade. We're
That's like a legal trade because I need to satisfy the Stepien rule for the thing I want to do next.
No, I'm saying like I'm pretty sure we like once expansion has started, there's no like other trades until expansion is done. Am I?
I can't make trades. Do I have
think
to
whatever I think whatever things you want to do at later, like waiving players, trades with other teams. I think you have to wait until after expansion is done.
Okay, fine, because I already have, for the sake of ease, I already have another 2026 first round pick from the Sixers. So I'm going to use that to satisfy the Stepien rule here. New Orleans.
Okay.
You'd like to get off of DeJounte Murray, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't mind to get off Jordan Poole.
You take your choice. I'm happy with either.
You take your choice. You could take your choice.
So, Joe Dumars, you are clearly not attached to unprotected first round picks. You have the more favorable of New Orleans and Milwaukee in 2027.
Yeah.
I am prepared to not only take the player of your choice, but give you the Philly pick in 2026 to satisfy the Stepien rules to make sure that you can trade that 2027 first round pick. So
okay, yeah, this is okay what you're doing. I'm sure we've seen deals like this during like around expansion. It just wouldn't be official till the draft. So I protected as New Orleans Zion, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Jeremiah Fears, Jordan Hawkins, Derek Queen, Jose Alvarado, Yves Misi, and unprotected Poole, DeJounte Murray, Kevon Looney, Carlo Matkovic, and Micah Peavy. This was a really tough one to figure out, but the main thing is I would like, obviously, that one of Poole or Murray are taken. I'm not going to specify which one I prefer, but I'm giving you the choice. But I'm not going to specify which one I would prefer you take. So you're off. So who are you going to select if I don't engage in a trade with you?
I guess I would take, well, I'm not going to take a Pelican if I don't make a trade here. I'm going to go elsewhere. Of the 2 Pelicans guys, I think I'd rather have Murray than Poole. I just think like the upside there, former All-Star. We don't know how he'll look post Achilles, but I at least feel like there's a good winning player in there, which I just don't for Poole. Although actually, does Poole have a shorter contract? I think he does.
He's expiring.
So then in that case, I'd probably take Poole. But my preference here would be to trade for that pick because the Pelicans clearly don't value those Bucks swap right / their own unprotected pick. So Philly 2026 for either Milwaukee or New Orleans 2027, and I take the player if you're choosing.
So I guess the question is, what did Philly's pick end up happening? Because by now we already know what it is.
Considering how little interest there is in Embiid and George, I'm going to go ahead and say it's pretty high.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be very good in 2027, and I don't know what's going to happen to the Bucks, but I don't think I'm going to be very good as the Pelicans in 2027. I think I got to keep that pick. I'm guessing that Sixers pick is probably like in the mid first round in 2026, which is fine. But as the Pelicans, I've learned I shouldn't be trading future picks for current picks that we already know. So I'm going to have to abstain unless you want to, and allow you to take whoever you want of your choosing.
I am open to improving my offer. Would you take a top 4 protected pick from me, the expansion team, in 2029 to complete this deal?
A top 4 protected 2029 Swamp Dragons pick. And who are you going to take?
Your choice. It's what I want is the Bucks Pelicans pick. That's all I'm trying to get after. You tell me who I have to draft to get that pick.
No, I can't do it. I don't
That-
need the savings that badly. I'm not like in luxury tax territory. Like
Your
I'm
owner's
gonna
Dale
stay
Benson.
under. No, I understand, but listen, Sam, you're doing a really good negotiation. Based on how these talks we're having, I get, I understand you're an expansion team. You're giving me the impression this 29 pick you're sending me might not be so valuable. Maybe you end up sound like a competent front office there. That might be like maybe you'll be in the plane by then.
I mean, I'm openly trying to get guys to trade. I'm trading for picks. I don't know how good I'm going to be in year 4 of this exercise.
No, it's a good offer, but for those reasons, I'll
You
pass.
are breaking my heart. That is the pick that I wanted all along. Maybe we'll revisit it. I'll leave
Okay.
New Orleans on the board for now. I'm going to go to Toronto now. Next,
All right.
want to talk about an unprotected pick for RJ Barrett?
I already explained he's expiring.
Or Pirtle.
Again, like the Pelicans, Raptors, they're not in like a bad situation. It's not like a big, deep tax situation or anything like that. It'd just be nice, like if you want to get off them, I can offer you some seconds, not a first.
No. All right. So in that case, then most of the big cap dumps that I've wanted to explore, there are a couple more we might revisit, but I'm just going to take a player that I like. I'm going to stay with Toronto. I'm going to add to my defense. I'm going to take Jamal Shedd.
All righty.
I am heartbroken over that Pelicans trade. I have wanted that since the moment we conceived this idea. I knew because see, here's the problem. You're negotiating as you. I want to negotiate with Joe Dumars because he'd make that trade.
I know, but I'm not here to negotiate as what I think the team would do. I'm negotiating as what I think is best for these teams. All right, so Shed is a Swamp Dragon. Sonics, you're up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I had a mic issue.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. All right. Perfect. My mic issue is that I unplugged it by mistake. All right. So Jamal Shedd was where I was going to go if we couldn't get something done with Pirtle. So that's off the board. I need to get a little size and a little bit more salary on the books here. So I'm going to go with Brandon Clark from the Grizzlies.
Okay, so Memphis was a very, very difficult team for me to figure out the protections for. I protected Jaren, John Morant, Santi Aldama, Zach Edey, Cedric Howard, Scottie Pippen, Jalen Wells. And then that means I have to decide the last one between Ty Jerome, Contavious Caldwell Pope, Brandon Clark, John Conchar, Vince Williams, Cam Spencer, and Gigi Jackson. Yeah, I have so I ended up picking Ty Jerome. I just feel like he might have a little more value on that contract than the other players going forward. I wouldn't mind getting off KCP or Brandon Clark. So yeah, I have no objections to that. I mean, I would be willing to offer 3 seconds to keep Clark if you take Conchar instead.
No, I need this size.
Well, let's see. I know Memphis has an extra Magic pick. I could be willing to heavily protect. No, I think I'd rather have that pick. Extra firsts. No, Memphis has that Phoenix pick most likely next year. Can't trade that. Okay. Yeah, you can have Brandon Clark.
You do have an Orlando pick in 2030.
Yeah, but I feel like, between now and 2030, now it's 2026 where we're doing this draft. That 4 years, there's a lot of time on that I think I could get better value for that pick between now and then, instead of just to keep Brandon Clark, who his contract is probably almost done by then. So
yeah, he would be expiring.
Yeah,
which is part of the allure as well. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to take Brandon Clark then.
All right. Swamp Dragons, go ahead.
All right. I've got a couple of guys that I'm interested in. I'm thinking ahead here a little bit. And I'm thinking there are a couple players, somebody's getting stuck with Vanderbilt. That's not going to be fun. Memphis was another team that I was interested in. Gonna go with some business considerations here. The boss paid a lot of money for his team. I would like to sell some tickets. So give me Lonzo Ball, and I could probably flip him at the deadline, assuming he's healthy, which is obviously a huge if. I've got like a couple veterans here that I think I'm going to be able to get value for at the deadline.
Okay, Cleveland, shorter player pool than a lot of these other teams. I protected Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, DeAndre Hunter, Max Strus, Sam Merrill, and Jalen Tyson. So I protected all my most expensive players. The Cavs will most likely next year still spend a lot of money, be willing to be deep in the second apron. If they haven't gone to the finals, hopefully I'll have already gone to the finals as the Cavs. So I unprotected Lonzo Ball was a $10 million team option. Craig Porter Jr., who was a team option, non-guarantee, and Tyrese Proctor. This is kind of a situation where I kind of value all these players kind of equally. So I can't really pay you to take anyone different in that sense. So it's one of those situations where, and they don't have any restricted free agents coming up that I can, try to get you to take as a burner pick. So yeah, just one of those situations where you just pick whoever you want, and I got to deal with it. So the Swamp Dragons, you guys selected Lonzo Ball. Sonics, go ahead.
All right. Still quite a few guys I like. So I am gonna score some points, right? Like can't just be a whole bunch of young dudes. I want to go with Cam Thomas.
Okay. Very interesting protection I did with the Nets. So I protected Michael Porter Jr., who's on the last year of his deal, Nick Claxton, Jaeger Dioman, Noah Clowney, Nolan Traore, Ben Seraph, Drake Powell, and Danny Wolf. I unprotected Terrence Mann, Cam Thomas, Jalen Wilson. Then the restricted rights to Jalen Wilson, Tyrese Martin, and Drew Timme. This is a very tricky one where the Nets, I think, naturally would have to protect all 5 of their first round picks unless one of them was like just really bad next year. I think I got to keep Claxton. Clowney, I think, out of all their recent first round picks, I think he's got some of the most upside. I didn't include Day'Ron Sharpe and Zaire Williams because they're not signed yet in real life. It was just going to be too confusing. And then I was kind of just deciding between Porter Jr. and Cam Thomas, who I had extended, had re-signed to that like 3-year mid-level exception type offer that he's been reportedly offered. So I left Cam Thomas unprotected. I think just kind of based on how his restricted free agency is going, I would imagine that if expansion was next year, I would guess he wouldn't be protected in this, given the Nets situation. And to be honest, I can't really put much of a fight. Like, yeah, I have like 16 second round picks, something like that. I've got like 16 firsts, but I can't, I have so many guards that I need to feed. I've got all these guys I just selected. So I feel like I'm willing to make an offer for you to take Terrence Mann. I could be willing to offer a not too super valuable first for you to take Terrence Mann because I think
okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
We have a Knicks 2027. I might be willing to put that on the table based on what we know.
In the interest of time and not going too much back and forth, Knicks 2029.
I would have to make it lottery. Oh, no, more like I definitely need a lottery protected at the very least. And then 2029, I already have like 2 other picks that year. So yeah, if we lottery protected also for the sake of time, I'd be willing to do that.
Yeah, it's a little too much. Because that's like the year guys start potentially coming off the books.
I'll throw in a second.
A second, one
A
of your
second.
many seconds.
Yeah.
Um,
That's good value. You're getting like just any like that first round pick's probably gonna convey if the Knicks are still competitive in 2029. For you to take, he's a rotation player, Terrence Mann. May end up backfiring on me. Maybe Terrence Mann is more valuable in the future than Cam Thomas.
all right, give me the Warriors second in 2029.
All right, done.
All right.
All right, we got our
I'll
second
take Terrence
trade.
Mann.
Sonics take Terrence Mann with Knicks lottery protected 2029 first and a Warriors 2032 second. That was
2029, I think it
20.
was.
All right, 20 Warriors
hold on.
2029 second.
2029, yep.
All right. Fun negotiation. Swamp Dragons, go up.
Yeah, I think the name of the game for me right here is just find a cheap guy that I know can play. So give me Julian Champagny from the Spurs. I was a little surprised that he was available until I looked at the Spurs list, and it's like there's just no one else. That team is just every asset on that team is good. I guess you'd probably want to get off of Keldon Johnson at that number, but even that number isn't crazy. So Julian Champagny for me.
Yeah, I'm not going to put much of a fight there. I protected Fox, who got his max extension this week. Devin Vassell. I protected the restricted rights for Jeremy Sohan, just mainly as a means to unprotect Keldon Johnson. Then I kept Wemby, Harper, Cornette, Castle, and Carter Bryant. So if this was the following year, I would probably be offering something for you to take Keldon Johnson, because that's when Victor's new contract kicks in. But the Spurs are safe next year with Fox on the first year of that deal, Wemby on the last year of his rookie deal. So it would be nice to get Keldon Johnson, but the Spurs are going to be capped out. Anyways, I would get to like 20 million in cap space by getting off Keldon Johnson, but I can't really do too much with that. So the best I could do, if you want to take Keldon Johnson, I'd be willing to offer like 3 seconds.
It'd have to be a first, and it would have to be like a not terrible first, and I don't think you want to do that.
I don't even know. I know they have a lot of now looks like terrible firsts. Oh, they gave up their terrible first to get Fox.
Don't they have, you can correct me on the protection of this. They have an Oklahoma City that they got from Sacramento, but I think it's like only conveys if it's 17-30, or maybe Sacramento gets that end of it.
They get swaps on like all their even or odd year picks. They're getting swaps. Like the Spurs picks are very valuable in the long run because they have these swaps with this variability. I'm just gonna let you take Champagny.
Cool.
All right, Swamp Dragons take Champagny. We're halfway done, guys. Was it Julian or Justin? Julian. Champagny. All right, Sonics.
Okay. I'm not going to mess around with trying to negotiate with the Pelicans. I want Carlo Matkovic.
My dream pick is gone. I was honestly thinking about do I offer even a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather just let him take Matkovic than trade any of my Pelicans first. What can I do? What can I do to potentially entice you with Poole or Murray?
So I see them both as probably maybe expirings, because Murray has a player option in what would be 27, 28. And I don't know that he's going to want to be on an expansion team. But then on the flip side, he is, I believe, from Washington, and we're in Seattle, so maybe he would be okay with that. But I don't have a lot of size on my roster, and I actually like Matkovic. I think he can actually play. And as somebody who just needs more time. So I'm not super interested unless you're willing to talk like actual valuable picks.
Let me see what the Pelicans, they don't really have like they used to have a nice surplus of first round picks, not anymore. Yeah, I can't trade that 27 extra first from Milwaukee right now / mine. The only way, yeah, best I could do, just 5 seconds if you want to take one of Murray or Poole. Otherwise, Matkovic is yours.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take Matt. I don't even know if you have that many seconds.
I think they do.
To be honest, I think they're pretty light.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I see. They traded. Yeah, they have like. Okay, best I could do is 1 second.
Yeah. So I'll just take Matkovic.
Yeah, not much the Pelicans can do here. Now, I mean, I didn't think this far ahead. We could do like normal trades as well, and as like a way to like a conditional. Okay, we do a regular trade, like I trade you like Hawkins or something for something else, and then you in exchange take someone of my choosing. There's only
I'd be
so much I could
interested in
cover.
Queen or Missy.
Enjoy Matkovic.
All right, thank you. I will.
All right. So yeah, Sonics take Carlo Matkovic. Swamp Dragons, go ahead.
Yes, center is the thinnest position here, I think. And with Trace Jackson Davis off the board, who would have been my preferred backup center, I'm going to take Clint Capella with the idea that I'm going to trade him to a contender at the deadline. At $7 million, that's just a very easy backup center salary to absorb for somebody. So I bet I could flip him for like a good second or multiple seconds at the deadline. And in the meantime, a solid backup center.
So with Houston, I extended KD and Tyrese and protected them, as well as protected Şengün, Jabari Smith, Dorian Finney-Smith, Steven Adams, Amen Thompson, and Reed Shepherd. Rockets, as of now, they have a very short. They don't have that many players under contract next year, so I ended up just unprotecting Clint Capella because that's it. I had to leave one player unprotected. That's all they had. No restricted free agents to put. This is just one of those situations where, you just take the guy and that's it. We can't really negotiate much on that. So the Swamp Dragons select Clint Capella, who has 2 years, about $14 million remaining on his contract.
This roster is going to look so different in February.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trading everybody here.
It might look very different tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sonics.
All right. All right, let's talk to Portland.
All right.
What are you willing to do to get off Holiday or Grant?
So here is I extended Shaedon Sharpe, protected him, Scoot, Lillard, Avdia, Klingon, Chris Murray, Young Hansoon, and Tamani Kamara. And unprotected were just Drew Holiday and Jeremy Grant, but they also have the restricted rights for Duop, Reith, and Ryan Rupert. Now, technically, they can choose not to give those guys qualifying offers. And I'm sure, they at least like one of those guys won't in real life. And then that means that they can structure it. So this is, again, where the strategy comes in. Maybe the Blazers to waive two of those guys ahead of the season. So then it's just Holiday and Grant to choose from, both of whom I think are negative value contracts. So I'm not sure, I have to get some clarity on this. I don't think you could like preemptively not tender a qualifying offer. I don't think it's like a team option where I could decline it ahead of time. It's kind of like one of those things where it becomes. I think it's one of those things where he no matter what, I can't preemptively make him unrestricted.
Yeah, I think they would have to go. Yeah, and then that decision, and then they'd become unrestricted if selected.
So the Blazers would probably have to waive these guys if they wanted to structure it to only have Holiday and Grant unprotected. But yeah, so we're gonna have to negotiate here. What do I got? Do you have an offer?
Well, I want to make sure I get the right amount on their contracts left. Let's see. So they would both have 2 seasons because they both got player options that they're likely to pick up. So 52 million for Holiday. I'm sorry, 72 million for Holiday and roughly 70.5 for Grant. So, I mean, pretty similar contracts. All right. So looking at your picks, I would be happy to take the you have the most and least favorable in 2029 of your own Boston and Milwaukee. I would want one of those, and then we could do a protect one of like your like if you would be open to doing the lottery protected portion of one of your other picks.
I suppose you wouldn't be interested in Lillard or
We're talking players now. Let's see.
oh, he's got the no trade clause. No, that's not happening.
Yeah, that's true. He would kill even to just move up the road. He would kill it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I think. Yeah.
How are you feeling
players-wise-
about Donovan Klingon?
Yeah, I can't trade Klingon.
Okay.
No. So it's definitely a picks thing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can't
because
take
everybody else is. I'm not going to be insulted.
Yeah.
By.
I'll. So let's see. You were talking about 29, which is Celtics or Bucks. Blazers get the most and least favorable. Okay.
Yep.
I would be willing to do either the least favorable of that, or I'd be willing to do the least favorable of the 2 extra 28 picks I have. And 28, I've got Bucks or Magic. Yeah. And
So
both
only
are
one of the
unprotected.
two.
Oh, so what were you proposing?
I need two. I need two
You need
picks.
two
If I'm
first?
eating 30 plus million each year, I need first for each year.
I'd be willing to unprotect one of them. This other one I would have to add some level of protection to.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm all
Okay.
right with that.
So let's see.
Let's
29.
do all right. Let's do this. Do the 2028 Orlando pick. Do you want to add lottery protection on that?
And then we're also
So
talking
you would
about
keep it if it's lottery protected. I'd get it otherwise, and then I'll take the least favorable of the 2029 picks.
but I want to really protect the other one where I want to make it really hard for that one to convey, and if it doesn't convey, you get like 3 seconds.
That Orlando one.
I'm not picky about which one. Like, which one would you rather have unprotected?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I think that one's just the easier one because the other
Okay.
one's most and least favorable.
So let's unprotect the least favorable of Boston, Milwaukee, because then
Okay.
if we protect 28, you have more time. Yeah, well, yeah, you have a little bit more time on it if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to get that 2029 least favorable of Portland, Boston, and Milwaukee.
And then the 28, it'll be the least favorable of
Orlando and Milwaukee.
just Orlando. Yeah, no, just yeah,
Yeah, just keep it
Or-
Orlando. That keeps it
Orlando. We will make it top. I want to make it top 20 protected, and
That's fine.
And if it doesn't convey, you
We'll
get
do-
3 seconds.
Yeah, and we'll just
All right.
we can just say 3 seconds.
Okay.
We don't
Oof.
need to hash it
Damn.
out. And now, dude, Holiday or Grant? I would rather take Holiday.
I mean, you're getting a haul. Can I just have you? Can I make the choice?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I'd rather have. They both have player options, right?
Yeah,
damn.
yeah. And the money's almost the same. It's like a
Wow,
million and a half difference.
This is actually pretty tough. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess you have to take Holiday. He's just older.
All right. Well, that actually works better for me anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So Sonics.
We're Drew Holiday.
I don't think it's a great deal for me, but I want to have some fun. Sonics get Drew Holiday, Magic top 20 protected 2028 first, and least favorable of Celtics Bucks 2029. Is that what it was?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Blazers, Celtics, Bucks.
Got it.
Because your own's wrapped up in that too.
Nice. That's a really good value for you.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
feel good about that.
Oh,
And
100%.
then I mean, we'll talk it later, but I could either keep Holiday, I could just straight waive it. Like, there's options there.
All right. Swamp Dragons.
Okay, we're going to have another potential Portland pick related trade to bring up. Chicago, you have Patrick Williams, who I'm sure you'd love to get off of. Would you do the lottery protected Portland pick that is lottery protected in perpetuity 26, 27, and 28 to get off of Patrick Williams?
I think that's reasonable. Now, the Bulls, I will say, so Kobe White's not mentioned in this because he's going to be unrestricted. He's probably not going to sign the extension he can take. That's number one. I had preemptively re-signed Josh Giddey and extended Dosunmu and Dalen Terry because the Bulls have so much money to spend. I kind of feel like these guys, they'll just end up paying these. Dosunmu, Jalen Smith, Trey Jones, Dalen Terry, Matas Buzelis, Noah Senge. All I could unprotect was Patrick Williams and Julian Phillips. Now, even with assuming I bring back Kobe White on like, I don't know, let's say $30 million a year, the Bulls will still have like max cap space. But as the Bulls, I'm probably not going to like get anyone in free agency with it. So would I like to get off Patrick Williams? Yes. Is it worth, how much longer is the protection on that Blazers pick?
I believe it is lottery protected in
It runs out in 2028.
So there's a reason I want this pick specifically if you want to get into it, but I want to complete the trade first.
I think that's going to convey soon, and I think I'd rather hold on to I don't need that much flexibility. I don't need the flexibility that urgently.
Okay. Let me just get into this really quickly. I think that's
right.
a uniquely interesting pick, and I think you're smart to hold on to it, and here is why. Portland has swap rights with Milwaukee in 2028. But if that lottery protected pick, if the Blazers miss the playoffs in 26 and 27, then they might not have a pick to swap with Milwaukee in 28. And do you really want to have a pick to swap with Milwaukee in 28? Because there's a good chance Giannis isn't on the team at that point. So my plan was to trade for that pick and try to hold it over Portland's head for a little bit more value down the line, just to make sure they could exercise the value of those Milwaukee swap rights. But if you're not going to make the trade, we're going to have to go a little bit more conventional here. Let's see who else is on the board. I will take Andre Jackson Jr. from the Bucks.
That's a good one.
Okay. Yeah, Andre. So as the Bucks, I protected Giannis, Miles Turner. I protected Kuzma. He'll be on the last year of his deal. I think I need the tradable salaries. Bobby Portis, Kevin Porter, Ryan Rollins, Gary Trent, and Jericho Sims. So I unprotected Gary Harris, Torian Prince, the restricted rights to Chris Livingston, Andre Jackson Jr., and Tyler Smith. Probably, this might be probably the weakest pool of players to protect or unprotect. So, you can have Andre Jackson. I just don't have really any. The Bucks don't even have that many assets to deal with. I don't know how many seconds they've got. And anyways, Andre is probably not. He might not even be in the rotation this year. For the Bucks have all these two guards, so he's all yours. All right, Sonics. This is a 20th pick, so we've got about 9 or 10 more.
All right, I am going to go with Kobe Brown from the Clippers.
So Clippers, I protected. So the Clippers will be doing their cap space, their flexibility thing next year. Like they're preserving cap space. So very good chance they're like, a lot of these guys aren't even like able to be protected. They might already be free agents, but I kept all the options. They have a lot of options. I just kept them. So I protected Kawhi, James Harden, who has a non-guaranteed player option, Zubats, Derrick Jones Jr., Chris Dunn, Beal, who has a player option, Yannick Conan Niederhauser, and Cam Christie. And then I unprotected 4 players who are on team options. So Keith would be inheriting the right to just pick him up or decline him outright, which is Bogdan Bogdanovic, Brook Lopez, Nick Batum, and Kobe Brown. So you said Kobe Brown?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I'll try to make a little fight for it. Yeah, I don't think you guys have added any additional seconds yet, have you?
Did I? Yeah, I did. In the Terrence
and that
Mann one.
That's true. Let's see. I'd probably just trade like I'd probably just offer like 1 second to keep him, and you take Bogdanovich.
Yeah, that's too much salary. I don't want that much salary.
But you could just decline
I mean,
him
I
after.
could just get rid of him.
Yeah,
that's true.
So it's for me, it's just like, okay, I kind of want to keep Kobe Brown just because, like, as a Clippers, I have like the oldest team. Kobe Brown's not like that young, anyways, but I gotta have some level of upside. So yeah, 1 second.
2031 or 2032, your own.
That's all they could offer. I got a 26 from the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I don't want that one.
I'd
rather have yours later.
All right, let's do it. 2031. Clipper
For
second.
Bogdanovich or Lopez?
Take Bogdanovich.
Okay.
I think he's
that works.
Yeah. Sonics take Bogdanovich and a 2031 Clippers second. All right, Swamp Dragons.
I want one of these Knicks bench guys that the fans are convinced is good, but we've never actually seen play. The question is which one. We've seen the most from Ariel Hukporti, and I would like to have a younger center on my roster with Batadze and Clint Capella. I like all 3 of these guys enough, though, that Knicks, if you're willing to give me a second round pick, you can pick which one I take.
Okay. How many seconds do I have to offer? I've got seconds. Oh, Knicks have a good amount, actually. Yeah, there might be something we could do. Okay, so there's Daddier, Hukporti, and Tyler Cole. Okay, so I protected Towns, OG, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart. I had extended Mitchell Robinson, kept him, kept the player option of Yabusele and Miles McBride. I think that's kind of a chalk for the Knicks. So, yeah, I'm either protecting Hukporti, Daddier, I'm giving up one of Pacome Daddier, Ariel Hukporti, and Tyler Kolek. Okay, what were you proposing?
Just give me a second round pick and you can pick which one I take. Let's figure out what that second would be. They're 26 and 27. They have picks incoming, but they're very complicated as far as favorability goes. Would you give me your 2032 second, and I will give you a 31 to 35 protection.
All right, let's play roulette first. Who are you going to take?
Just with the first round pedigree, I'm probably going to take Daddier, but I would be okay with any of them.
All right, you can have Daddier.
Who did you want me to take? Like with
Daddier.
Because Hukporti also, like, I could have actually used him as a player.
He would become an unrestricted free agent.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So, you know what? I'm fine with Daddier. That's fine.
And even if you took, even if you took someone else, I probably wouldn't have fought for him.
I would have been happy with Kolek too. I think Kolek is good.
It's possible none of these guys are going to be rotation players. Like, we got to see a lot more from them.
Hopefully, we'll find out this year.
Yeah. Okay. Sonics.
All right, I'm gonna keep it simple here, and I'm gonna go with Julian Phillips from the Bulls.
Okay, let's see. What can I interest you with to take Pat? That's not a first.
Nothing.
Yeah, Bulls are pretty good with seconds. Do you have a player that you selected? Maybe there's a trade we could do.
Because he would still have 3 years left on his contract, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Do you want Bogdanovic? I would swap you Bogdanovic for him.
Well, it'd be more like a separate trade. You want to do Bogdanovic for Patrick? I get Bogdanovic and you get Patrick Williams.
Yeah,
Can we do
I'd
that?
do that.
Is that like? So how would this be structured legally? Because you would be selecting Patrick Williams, then I need a trade for Bogdanovic, so I got to give you something in a separate trade.
Well, I've selected Bogdanovic, right? So he's just on my roster. So I would pick up his team option, and then we'd. I mean, that's just a pretty straight up trade, right? The money's fine.
Yeah. Because legally, how it would work, you have to take Patrick Williams with your selection, and then we do a separate trade contingent on it.
Yeah, that's true. So then
I think I have cap space. I'd have cap space. It should work. I agree to absorb Bogdanovic with my cap space.
And then throw me one of your own seconds.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just because you're getting off Williams. Or two of them, actually, because he's got 3 years left. Because he'll pick up that player option.
Okay, that's fine. 2 seconds.
So any 2 seconds doesn't matter. You've got 5 of them.
I'll give you 28 and 29.
Perfect.
All right.
I actually don't hate that outcome.
Take Patrick Williams and 2 seconds. Bulls separately acquire Bogdanovic with cap space. So you put Patrick Williams on your sheet for now, but don't delete Bogdanovic. That's something that's like technically later. Okay, yep. Swamp Dragons.
And we can finish this over the cap, right?
Yeah, the thing is, it's just that like you could artificially create your own cap space later by waiving all these guys.
Yep. Okay.
That being said, I'm gonna stick cheap and go Pelle Larsson from Miami.
Okay, Larsson. So, big no with the Heat. I did not extend Norman Powell. I don't think they'll try to extend them because they're gonna try to be flexible with trying to keep cap space over the next year or two. So I protected Bam, Hero, Andrew Wiggins, the restricted rights to Nikola Jovic, Davion Mitchell, Jaime Jaquez, Khalil Ware, and Kasparas Jokuchonis. So unprotected Pelle Larsson, and the restricted rights to Kashad Johnson. Not much I could really do there as the Heat. Doesn't make sense to trade a first here, and they like have no seconds available. They're always trading their next available second like immediately as they can. I don't think it's worth trading a distant second to save Pelle Larsson when I already have a lot of guards, a crowded backcourt. So Pelle Larsson's yours.
You can afford to trade all your second round picks when you just constantly create role players out of undrafted free agents. They don't need their second round picks.
Yeah, but again, like I already have like Jaquez, Mitchell. I gotta play Jokuchonis. If the Heat had more seconds, I'd probably put up a fight, but they don't. So I think I gotta keep those seconds for like something more important in case like maybe I gotta save some money for something later. That's what they tend to do. Okay, Sonics.
All right, I'm gonna go with, just in the interest of trying to keep things under control here, I'm gonna go with Jordan Walsh from the Celtics.
Okay, so Celtics, I protected Tatum Brown, White, Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, Hugo Gonzalez, Baylor Shireman, and Nemias Queta. So I unprotected Luka Garza, Josh Minot, and Jordan Walsh. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to put up much of a fight there. Celtics. I just traded 2 seconds to get off George Niang. How are the Celtics on seconds right now?
Yeah, I've got a couple left. Let's see.
I'd give up. I don't know. Should I? I'd probably give up one if you want to take Minot or Garza.
All right, I'll take either the 2031 or 2032 second. I'll take Garza instead.
I was thinking something more short term.
Okay. Let's see. So then there is the
Like this, a 2026 one of the upcoming crappy lower ones. There's like a 26 from New York, Minnesota, New Orleans. I have too many. I don't need 2 second-round picks in 2026.
give me the most favorable at Minnesota, New York, New Orleans, and Portland. That one
That's fine.
in 26, and I'll take
take
Garza.
Garza. Yeah, I could. It should.
Yep,
Just in
that's fine.
case, I could see a scenario where the Celtics might need to trade Garza next year if they're trying to duck the tax again.
Sure.
So yeah, Sonics get a 20. Take Luka Garza and a 2026 second round pick.
And my center rotation of Trace Jackson Davis, Carlo Makovich, and Luka Garza is equally as good to the real life Celtics center rotation this season.
Okay, Swamp Dragons.
As
Almost
you'll
done.
notice, I have fastidiously saved Cap, and now I'm gonna engage Philly one last time. You sure you don't want to talk Embiid and George?
Let's save it to the end because I could.
Well, I'm gonna make another offer right now for another expensive guy.
I'll listen. As Philly, I'm not giving up McCain. I can't say I'd give up any of my players, recent young players. I would be open to trading one of my Clippers first.
That's okay. Unprotected Clippers 2028, unprotected Sixers 2032.
I would probably be so it could either be that Clippers 2028 with some protection. So wait, what picks can the Sixers trade right now? Because they're
I actually don't know
26.
from a standpoint where
They owe their 26. Yeah, it's kind of complicated. I don't think the Sixers could trade a first until 2030 now.
For their own is 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2030. Like cleanly.
So all I could do if I'm the Sixers, I'm at a point where, hey, there's a very strong chance that I might be the only team not engaged in this. And I think I would love to get off one of Embiid or Paul George free. I could be willing to trade that the Clippers 28 first, but we might need to do like another trade. Like maybe you give me somebody on your team that could help me.
I just think we're off on value because if I'm just getting the Clipper pick, I want more than that if I'm taking Embiid. That's three. That's like I'm waiving like $170 million. Very few owners are going to be eager to do that. You got to get a huge return. So I think we're just off value-wise. I do have another expensive player I'm willing to talk about. And that would be, let's get Sacramento on the line.
Okay.
Zach LaVine expiring $49 million.
Okay, let me just say the Kings, I unprotected Zach LaVine and I unprotected the restricted rights to Isaac Jones. So I protected Sabonis, DeRozan, Monk, Keegan Murray, Schroeder, Devin Carter, Nick Clifford, Maxime Renault. So that was just like a lot of that was an effort to specifically have Zach LaVine unprotected. I should have, you know what? I should have switched DeRozan with Isaac Jones. Okay, well, it's too late. Okay, what are you proposing?
I would like unprotected swap rights in 30 and 32 to take on LaVine.
Unprotected swap rights. Okay, so I already traded my 2031.
You do have Minnesota's 2031, so I'll sweeten this slightly. I want 2 unprotected swap rights out of the following 3 picks. Your own in 30, your own in 32, and Minnesota's in 31.
Well, that swap to Minnesota. Hold on. Oh, the Kings have a Wolves
they have the unprotected
swap.
Minnesota pick in 31 from the De'Aaron Fox trade.
Oh, they have that pick out right.
So
Okay.
I just want swap rights in 2 out of those 3 years. It can be Minnesota in 31, Sack in 30, or Sack in 32. Pick 2 of those 3, swap rights in those, and I take Zach LaVine.
Okay. Okay, so they already traded the Spurs. If it's 17, yeah, I can't try. Would you want the Spurs reverse protection for their 27 pick?
I don't want San Antonio control. I want Minnesota or Sacramento control. The Spurs are too smart. I'm openly trying to short Sacramento or the possibility that Minnesota loses Anthony Edwards.
Okay. Yeah, I cannot. Okay, so I can do. I could do. I can't do 2 swaps. I could do like one. I could do one.
Would it be my choice of the one?
Yeah.
All right, let me counter here. Unprotected 30, top 6 in 20, or unprotected 32, top 6 protected swap in 2030. I get 2, but I give you protection on 1.
So you're getting a 2032 protected swap?
No, 2032 is unprotected, 2030 is protected.
But a swap, you're saying, in 2032?
Yeah, they're all swaps.
Okay, let's do it.
Perfect. All right, Zach LaVine. So I'm getting unprotected swaps with Sacramento in 2032, and in 2030, we can swap if you're out of the top 6.
Hold on. So you're getting Zach LaVine and unprotected 2032 first round pick swap. Can I get like some player back? Just a guy?
Yeah, sure. Who do you have in mind?
So I'm thinking like Champagny.
I could do Champagny, yeah.
All right,
great.
I think you definitely get the better end of that, but I think clearing out LaVine's money is really important for next year.
I am just very excited that after all of this, I finally get to short one of the bad teams. I tried with New Orleans. I tried to, Philly's a smart team, but I tried to extort Philly. I finally got paid to take on one of these big contracts.
So just to be clear, you're getting a 2032 unprotected pick swap, and what else? What's the other condition?
And a 2030 pick swap, top 6 protected.
Okay. Yeah, that's not. You definitely got the much better end of that.
Zach LaVine and Lonzo Ball together again.
We gotta have some fun with it.
Yeah.
And I get Justin Champagny, or just
Julian Champagny.
Julian. Wait, are you sure?
Yeah.
No, Julian's on the Spurs. Oh, yeah, I'm getting Julian back. I'm getting Julian back. Okay, let's move on. Sonics.
All right. I will now make an offer for Joel Embiid.
All right.
I want the unprotected Clippers pick in 2028. We can do a protected first on one of your own, 2030 through 2032. And then I want 5 second rounders.
No, it's too much, but I like that there's a bidding war brewing. I'm still gonna hold pat that like I'd feel comfortable moving off that Clippers first with some very light protections to get off one of these guys. Let's see what. But like that's it, and then like how light? Top 8. That's pretty light.
All right. I'll switch it to this. Let's do top 4. And I get all of your seconds.
Let's
every available second you have.
No.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them.
I can't. No, I can't do that.
Okay.
But anyways, I do want to now that Sam knows, I want to see what I could end up, how little I could end up trying to get off one of these guys.
All right.
This is gonna be the last one for sure. Anyone else? Who else do you want to look at for other than Philly?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Dallas, and I'm not gonna mess around. I'm just gonna do. I'm gonna do Jaden Hardy.
Okay, so Dallas, very complicated one. I protected AD, Kyrie Irving. I extended PJ Washington and protected him. Daniel Gafford, Cooper Flagg, Najee Marshall, Max Christie, Derek Lively. So I unprotected Klay Thompson, Caleb Martin, Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell's player option. Restricted rights to Brandon Williams. Just a lot of big contracts for the Mavs. So,
I don't want Thompson or Martin. We can
I think in real life, I think the Mavs would, if you said I'm taking Klay Thompson, the Mavs might pay you something not to take Klay Thompson.
Possibly.
Yeah. So, but I might be willing to pay you something to take Klay Thompson.
Yeah, I want a first.
Yeah, Mavs don't really. I don't think they can. Can they even trade any first?
And the Lakers pick in 29.
Yeah. No.
For your own in 2032.
That's not worth it. For them, and then I don't think they have any. Yeah, they have no. I think they have like no second round picks. Maybe 1 second round pick.
They have a Philly pick in 2030 and their own in 2032.
Yeah, I could give up one of those to get off Klay, but yeah, I figured. Nope. Okay, so yeah, you can have Hardy.
All right.
All right, so we're on picks 27, 28, 29. We're on the last 3 picks. Sam gets 2. So Keith, you technically have 1 opportunity to get a deal done with the Sixers.
Yeah.
Just to note, we're on the last 3 picks, everybody. Swamp Dragons.
Yeah, we're down to the point where there are only bad contracts left. So it's like I have a handful of not great. Well, maybe not bad, but only expensive. I'm just staring down the barrel of like, I might end up with Grayson Allen. I might end up with Jared Vanderbilt. I'm just going for the cheapest guy left that I see, and I'm just going to take Trey Mann.
Okay, so Hornets with Trey Mann. Hornets, I protected LaMelo, Miles Bridges, Brandon Miller, Con Knipple, T. John Saloon, Leon McNeely, Sion James, Ryan Kalkbrenner, unprotected, Josh Green, Grant Williams, Trey Mann. All right, what would it take for you to take Josh Green? That's not a first. I could give you multiple seconds probably.
Do you have any your own seconds are actually kind of valuable. Do you have your own? I'm assuming 26. That's like a pick in the mid-high 30s.
Oh, right? You know what?
I don't have
Hold on. I see Green's on the last year of his deal. Never mind. I'm not going to be that urgent. I was thinking like. Okay, yeah, I don't think if I'm the Hornets, I don't think there's really much to do there. Yeah, okay. All right, 28. Your last pick, Sonics.
So I'll show you my target list, all crossed out. Every single guy gone or guy from their team was gone. So I'll make one more run at Embiid.
Hold on, before you say anything, here are the remaining teams. We're gonna cross out Charlotte. We have 2 selections left to make 3 remaining teams, either Philly, Lakers, or Suns. Okay, so I'll just say the Suns, the unprotected player is Grayson Allen, and the Lakers, the only unprotected player is Jared Vanderbilt. So this is where why these teams haven't gone anywhere, because like it's just negative value contracts to choose from. So it's kind of like about getting enough value for the worst ones or just taking the least bad ones.
Yep.
So yeah, sorry, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, we could do one more round of Embiid talks. Otherwise, I'm ready
Right.
to go elsewhere.
So now that I'm Philly, it's abundantly clear that the last 2 picks will be a combination of Vanderbilt and Grayson Allen. If I don't get a deal done, so I'm gonna have to get something done. What was your offer again?
All right, we can do I would do the that Clippers pick, 2028 Clippers pick, top 4 protected. You keep it, I get it otherwise. And then I'll take 5 seconds. Whatever 5 seconds you want. Of the 7 you can trade.
So I realized as a Sixers, I should have gotten a deal done earlier, because if I don't take a deal now, then I'm only negotiating with Sam. And yeah, no. So in real life, the Sixers probably would have gotten something done a little earlier if it was a priority. I'll do the Clippers unprotected and 3 seconds.
Done.
And then I want, but hold on. Embiid has 1 more year left on his deal, right?
He would have, at that point, he'd have 2.
No,
right?
he has more. Well, he has more than Paul George. Right? He has one more.
One year more than George. Yes.
I need you to take, I need you to take Embiid.
Yep. Yeah, Embiid's the one I want.
Keith, are you going to use him or are you going to waive him?
We're going to see.
Oh, you know what? Or I could keep Embiid in case he gets medical retirement. All right. Anyways, I'll just give you Embiid. We got to end this. Only the timer on Twitter stream is going to run out in like 7 minutes. Clippers unprotected first and 3 seconds. And then I'd probably want a player back, but let's skip it for now. Okay, last pick. Do you want Grayson Allen or Jared Vanderbilt?
Jared Vanderbilt, just the lower cap number. I'm going to come in below the cap. Now I'm going to waive Zach.
Wow.
Done. So I'm still going to have a bunch of cap space, but I just don't want the Grayson Allen contract. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought.
And the Suns probably come out as like, dang.
Can we also just acknowledge that this exercise, like, this helps the Lakers? Like, they're going to be, I mean, they're not actually going to do an expansion draft before their big cap space ambitions, but like, we do this and it helps the Lakers even more with their big cap space plans.
So with the Lakers, obviously Austin Reeves would opt out. He's going to opt out of his player option next year. But so either he would be unprotected, or he hasn't declined it yet, in which case the Lakers could protect him. It's the same result either way. But they have so few players, no restricted free agents, where they could structure it exactly, keep everybody but Jared Vanderbilt, who I'm sure they're going to want off the books. So they were just competing with the Suns, who did a very similar structure where they kept all their valuable guys and unprotected Grayson Allen. And I guess it was just a race to the bottom. So as we did this exercise, I'm kind of learning how teams are kind of competing with each other. They're going to be competing with each other, where 2 teams in a similar situation where they're trying to get off like a similarly negative value contract. They're going to have to be competitive with their prices. They're going to have to be like, yeah, like ultimately, I like in this situation, maybe the Suns, I don't know what they could have done differently. Like they could have offered. I would imagine like teams can reach out to these teams ahead of time, have these talks earlier to try to get some frameworks of what it would take to get something done. Because there's not really, it's not like I imagine like the expansion draft. It's not like I don't think it's ever been televised. I don't think it's really anything that's like a hard time limit. It's just like, all right, you're up.
This time it would be like just the NBA takes advantage of everything now, so I think they would put it on TV now because I think there's just too much interest before. I mean, because we're talking, it was by the time we get actual expansion, it's going to be like what 25, 27 years since we'll have seen the last expansion, which was really just the Hornets or the Bobcats then by themselves picking guys. So yeah, I think I do think it will be televised and it'll be all over the place with the protected lists and all that. So
Because the thing is, I don't know how practical it is to televise it when these teams are like probably also competing to be selected earlier. So I maybe if there is a way to televise this, they could try. Maybe they just announce the picks, but I don't think there's any like hard time limit. But yeah, like just like as we do this, teams need to be kind of aggressive on their end, be more aggressive than the expansion teams. So I kind of get the feeling. Oh, go ahead.
Quick question. One thing I did think about. I thought about saying I will pick Grayson Allen if you give me Oso Iguodala. Would you have done that?
I thought about that too.
I think I would.
Oh, well,
if
I'm fine with Vanderbilt. I was just curious. I did consider that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm only one guy representing all 30 teams. I could only make one phone call at a time. But
I think we missed somebody on a roster too.
Oh, I have the list written down.
Oh no, I traded Julian Champagny. That's why I'm at 14.
Yeah.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep him on the sheet for now. It's like a trade we did later. But yeah, I mean, any other thoughts and comments as we did this?
I think for me, I think it was kind of interesting. Like I went in with I wanted like young guys on rookie scale deals who have actual upside. So that's why I went early for like Shannon and Strother and Williams. I think there's still a chance those guys could pop. I didn't mind loading up on wings early. And I also went early for those teams that didn't really have assets to trade. So Minnesota and Denver, because I knew there wasn't going to be a lot you could do to entice me to move off those guys for other players. And then when we got into it later, I started looking at it. I was like, all right, I don't know that I want this team that is all rookie scale guys. So I'll go with a couple older guys. But like to Sam's point, like I can just wave Embiid, wave Holiday, and all of a sudden I'm back to, I don't know, whatever. It's 80 plus million off my book, or 90 million off my book. So I'd be back to like 50 million in cap space very quickly. If that's where I wanted to go. But I mean, I do kind of wonder if these expansion teams are gonna be willing to just be bad for a long time, or are they gonna feel a little bit more pressure to, hey, let's try to win with what we've seen, especially in like hockey, where the expansion teams have had some success early. Are they gonna want to try to get things moving quicker?
I don't think the NBA teams like not to throw shade at the Hornets, Wizards, Jazz teams kind of in purgatory, but it's like in all likelihood we're adding two more of those teams for the next 5+ years. So I don't know if they would have to get a superstar in the actual draft for them to like get into things pretty quickly. It feels like.
It's also very owner dependent, where if we had a Matt Ishbia type who happened to buy one of these expansion teams, he might look at Embiid and be like, yes, franchise player, let's go for it. Whereas I think if you have more traditional owners who are more willing to empower their basketball people, they would just say, we're absolutely not taking that Embiid contract. Like my whole strategy going into this was I want to extract premium assets to take on bad contracts. And what I found was, for the most part, you were a bit stingier with those assets than I think some of the GMs would be. Like, I bet I could have enticed Joe Dumars into making that Pelicans Bucks trade, but you're not Joe Dumars, so here we are. But yeah, I do think the interesting thing about this was Keith and I did come into this with pretty different strategies, where he was trying to take higher upside youth who he could develop internally, whereas I was more focused on, can I get stuff that will entice other teams later, or can I get draft picks by taking on big contracts now? So we're going to be building pretty differently, but I think both teams accomplished their goals pretty well.
Now,
Yeah, I mean, I came
oh,
away with 4 firsts and 6 seconds. So I feel pretty good about that too.
that
And the first I got, I feel pretty good about.
So I think you guys got a lot of really good value. Like I'll be honest, some of the times just for like, I don't know if I would have done like most of the deals I did. Just for like a little bit of entertainment value, I did some
Sure.
of these. But I'm curious how expansion would look in real life, where we also got the two-way element, which I touched on, where they're gonna have to figure out what to do with that. That's gonna be the biggest thing. Where a two-way contract, yeah, they're technically a free agent, but the offer sheet is to come back on a two-way contract, but at the same time, they also have accrued rights. So I think it's kind of this gray area where if two-way players, if the league and players agree that two-way players can be a restricted filler in the expansion route, that kind of changes the game, because then I think you're even more likely to get more deals where the expansion team gets value to take on these restricted guys just like as burner contracts. Because the interesting thing is you guys didn't take a single restricted guy as far as I could see. You guys all took players. In the previous ones, I know Charlotte took a bunch of restricted guys. I think they got a lot of when I looked that up. So I would guess that in real life expansion would probably look very different, because like how it really goes, because I would imagine there's going to be deals done to take restricted guys, but I also think it kind of goes to show like the talent overall has gotten a lot stronger, where it's really tough to protect everybody, and it's really tough to justify giving up a lot of value to save who might be your 9th or 10th best guy. So we'll have to see how
it's interesting, Josie, that you say that too, because I wonder with the with the two-way guys, if they become available, I wonder if the teams push to have 10 protected spots instead of 8. I think they'll want to protect more guys, simply because like I know you probably went through it, and you said you did when you went through the protected list. You run into some really tough decisions, right? You get down to the last couple, and it's like, man, I really don't want to leave this guy out there, because you kind of know, all right, then I'm gonna have to pay them to take somebody else. With that, but
and that's a great point, because the 15 player rule, when did that start? It wasn't like that. It wasn't like too long ago, was it?
When did it expand to 15, you're saying? Yeah, that was somewhat recent.
Yeah,
So,
15, yeah.
No, I think that's a great point. I think there's a good chance maybe they increase the protected by 1 at least. I think that makes a lot of sense. So we did our best with what we know. If you guys enjoy this and would want to return for next year, maybe we can open up CBA negotiations to modify rules. But anyways, we're over 2 hours now, guys. I appreciate you guys doing this. It was a lot of fun. Quick plugs. Keith, go first.
Spot track, anything like this kind of stuff. We'll get into some expansion related topics in the dead period here, if assuming we have one. Like, there's still 4 restricted free agents and all this stuff that's going on with that. And then NBA front office show, that's my podcast with Trevor Lane. We had a new episode come out today. We're kind of on our summer schedule, so like 3-4 times a week, but every Friday is a live show that we do, and it's all Q&A, and we get into all kinds of fun and silly topics, NBA and otherwise.
Yeah, as always, read CBS Sports. One of my favorite stories of every offseason we just published today, ranking every traded first round pick in the NBA. That's always a colossal story. We got that out today.
Ooh.
We have a whole bunch of fun stuff coming out in the next few weeks. I'm about to go on vacation, but we're doing some all century things in the coming weeks. Keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, yeah, just read CBS Sports. We do cool stuff.
I didn't know you released that today. I gotta open it right now before I forget. All right, guys, and make sure you subscribe to Third Apron wherever you get your podcast and the newsletter on Substack. Follow all of us on Twitter. You could see our tags, Blue Sky as well. And yeah, I'll be back sometime, hopefully next week for another show. Bye, everyone.